Well, if you're going to fall asleep during first legs of European club competitions. What happened to me yesterday living in Thailand? I stayed up for the match, but I nodded off. I'm afraid it's at 3 a.m. start, so it's going to happen now and again. Not much to talk about. Don't forget, these are first legs. It's only half time. So, looking for an odds on favourite to fight back to parity or the win. It's not necessary, is it? That's the trouble with first legs. Second legs, we've got angles in now, haven't we? We've got odds on favourite. PAOK must deliver away from home next time out. Easy job for Fenerbahce under the special one. And some obvious plays, really, in hindsight. 2.3 Sociedad from La Liga and Ajax, Champions League stalwarts, should have had comfortable enough times against Belgian opposition. So those odds looking amazing. And also reminding you, the market, finding it difficult to sum up these matches. The only play I really did think about, and again, it's not over for Panathinaikos. They've got a second half with home advantage to do the work. We've got done by 2-0. We did get the 2-1, but it came far too late. So my apologies for not following up about that. I just fell asleep. It's just one of those things. Shamrock Rovers, the only way they were going to beat Mulder was going to be care of a red card. So watch out for the second leg. Shamrock Rovers season begins at the weekend. I think Irish Premier Division, Irish First Division. It begins Friday. Copenhagen losing to Heidenheim. Again, one of those matches. Bundesliga, you'd have expected them to be a lot more competitive than an off-season Danish Super League. So a messy coupon. One of those nights to fall asleep, that's for sure. So apologies about not following this one up. But this epitomises the problems we face. It's not over because of a loss in the first leg. In-play stats were basically siding with me. Panathinaikos, even in the first half, second half a little bit lukewarm, but the first half caught me. But the Viking second goal caught me as well. The only way you can legislate for a 2-0 is, of course, that both teams to score no angle. Or better yet, don't play first legs in Europe. Because it is basically, you're just dealing with half time, aren't you, realistically? Port Vale and Notts County, the top six clash. Saw Port Vale win, another one, 2.6 for the favourite. Haven't got a clue. It's one of those days you just don't play or shouldn't have played. Port Vale moving in. Now, 52, they've broken the 50-point barrier. That's the importance of that win. Can hopefully cement them in the playoffs, and they're only a point away from automatic promotion, which puts that win into some real perspective, doesn't it? Their opponent, Notts County, where are they? Not looking too good for them. Where are they? Second. So Port Vale have narrowed that gap to a single point. Now Notts County have got 1, 2, 3 50-plus point teams breathing down their necks. Not to mention Bradford. So that's the vital importance of that win for Port Vale yesterday. Had it been a 0-0 at half-time, could have taken that on, couldn't you? Curtis, the hero, coming in 50th minute, scoring 85th. So you could have laid that draw, arguably, second half, using my lay over 0.5 goals and then sit on it because of the vital importance of the win. Lay that draw as late as possible. So that could have been a profitable play yesterday, had I been awake enough. It's just going to happen, I'm afraid. Trying to stay up till 2, 3 a.m. It's going to catch me out some nights. Better catch me out during first legs rather than the second. I think these dates are all wrong, because it should be the 14th, which isn't a Friday, is it? So it's a bit of a krypton factor, this one. So that's the 13th. There we go. Got the dates back now. Excellent. So today's football. Standard Liège against Genk. Standard Liège for the second consecutive match, not even favourite, which is a strange one, and it could be a damning indictment for them as well. Now, I'd be keen to stay up for these ones this evening. League football in lieu of first legs in Europe. Second legs, though, we've got some real angles, don't we? So we're going to be working on that for the second legs to get our money back. Standings, Standard Liège and Genk. Standard Liège struggling, relative, well, 7th. And Genk, top of the league. So a real contrast with these two. Genk sitting comfortably, only really one main rival has broken the 50-point barrier. Standard Liège with a win today could just break in to that top 6 and start moving into the Championship group, where they'll be vying for Champions League football and Europa League football. The Conference League group for the Europa Conference League. So if they've got any ambitions, Standard Liège, a win would be nice tonight. Have a quick look at the recent form. Standard Liège at home. A couple of 1-0 wins. They'll take that, won't they? But they've been very, very tight up front. So we've got to be very careful with them today. In the last 5 matches, they're keeping teams out. Well, keeping teams from scoring that second goal, but they're not scoring it themselves. Genk, away from home, a couple of 2-1 wins. So that does suggest if Standard Liège score first, they could be layable this evening. Lokomotiv Zagreb and Sibenek, put that one on the back burner. Brighton and Chelsea, it's a tough one to call, as the market suggests. It's a big, tough match in the Premier League. 2.3, the favourite. Chelsea in 4th, Brighton in 10th. Add 3 points to that, up to 37. And within another win, or thereabouts, of Newcastle. Chelsea, well, will stay as is with a win today, but more importantly, will keep the gap between themselves. And Man City were likely to go on a run, you'd suggest, soon. A concerted winning run. Newcastle a bit hit and miss, aren't they? But Chelsea, another 3 points gap would help cement that Champions League spot. Plenty of matches to play, but every point is crucial from here on in. So tough match to call, this one. QPR and Derby. Couple of draws now for Derby. A 1-1 and a 0-0. They're grinding away. They're just keeping their head above water on goal difference. So one of the draws was, I think, against Norwich, a last-minute goal, and 0-0 against Oxford. So 29 points, they would be keen for a win today. Derby, desperate need for points. Relegation 6-pointer for them. QPR, they're in 13th on 41 points. 47 is the goal at the moment for the playoffs. So, wow. A win today takes them to 44 within another win of a playoff place. So crucial for both of these two sides to get a result. The market slightly has the best positioned team in the league as the favourite. I don't think Derby have the forward capabilities to strike. And if they do score first, I think Derby look layable. Brest going to be sick of the sight of Paris Saint-Germain, having played them 2 consecutive matches in 2 different competitions and getting absolutely tonked. 8 goals. But in the meantime, the Coupe de France beating Troyes and beating Brest, beating Nantes away from home. They've got Champions League ambitions, but they're losing in the Champions League and the recent loss to PSG. But prior to that, if you take PSG out of the equation, it's been a pretty good set of winning results in League, 3 consecutive wins before meeting Paris Saint-Germain, who are just a step above the rest. Auxerre, Well, that tells you everything you need to know. Conceding 2+ goals away from home in the last 4 away matches. Overall for Auxerre, scoring and conceding does suggest they're vulnerable if scoring first. If they can keep that 2-goal, no, they can't. Conceding 2 goals too often, 3 of the last 4 matches. So they do look vulnerable today to Brest, but are Brest going to be fatigued from the Champions League? We will see. Not the strongest favourites on the planet, 2.2 the favourite. French Ligue 2, keep an eye on that. Standings will be vitally important. You'll get an idea of who needs what, even at this early stage. Lorient dominating the league. Let's just tighten that one up. So Ajaccio and Laval. This is a thing we have to do at this stage of the season now, because it's the middle of Feb. Season end is very near. These are moving times for these teams. Ajaccio only 1 point above the relegation playoff place. 3 points for them brings them up to 27. Playing Laval, who have got different ideas. A win for Laval takes them within 1 point of the European places. Sorry, the playoff places. French Ligue 2, yeah, the playoff places. It's just seeing Lorient up there, ex of French League 1. Amiens and Grenoble. Amiens mid-table mediocrity at the moment. 6 points away from the relegation zone. Grenoble, different ambitions. Again, they're only 7 points from a top 5 berth. Clermont, recently relegated and struggling. 13th place again, only 1 point above the relegation zone. Add 3 to that, they're up to 27. So, as you can see, all of these matches have some importance, even this early, compared to the end of the season. 30 points for Bastia. Just want to keep chipping away. Unbeaten run at the moment for them. Pau and Rodez, mid-table mediocrity for Pau. Rodez, a little bit more urgent for them. And look at the market, 2.35 the favourite. It's giving Rodez a chance, isn't it? You saw a couple of those odds-ons, 3 pluses winning yesterday. Sociedad and Ajax in the Europa League. So don't dismiss these odds. Very tight market. Not suggesting an easy time for Pau, giving Rodez a chance, but they're going to have to do something. They're on a run of 3+ with defeats. Red Star and Montpellier, these are the 2 newly promoted sides. And boy, are they struggling. The onus really is on the away side to get 3 points. Take 3 points off their nearest rivals. Tighten that gap to 21 to 23. 2 point gap with a win today for Montpellier. Red Star with a win could take them out of the relegation zone. Look how tight it is. Bring them all the way up to 13th, possibly. I would be laying any late draw here, that's for sure. And I wouldn't be taking those odds at all. I don't think in a relegation 6-pointer with two newly promoted sides that really one of them should be odds on. I don't agree with that personally. Look at those 2 recent wins for Montpellier as well. They could be looking at that. Beating Amiens and Dunkirk. Amiens there, Dunkirk there. So they can pull off the odd win to 0 as well. So I would be a little dismissive of those odds. This is a relegation 6-pointer. Estac Trois, a little bit too near. Only 4 points above the relegation zone. Playing top of the tree. Lorient. And the market again giving Estac Trois a chance. 2.15 for the market leader. We saw a recent match with a market leader in the league. Not even favourite against 18th in the league. And 18th in the league won. So bear in mind the league positions. Not exactly suggestive of a comfortable evening for Lorient. You Bet365 actually drifting. I wouldn't take any drifts to heart. Augsburg and Leipzig. This is one for soccerstats.com. I think. Give you a quick look. We have to go through all of these roundabouts. I still haven't sussed that one out yet. Augsburg and Leipzig. Let's have a look at this particular match. Leipzig have been involved in the Champions League, but they've been distracted, particularly away from home, This I will put down to Champions League. Augsburg putting together a really solid run, as you can quite clearly see. Who are they playing, though? Well, Union Berlin, Werder Bremen, Heidenheim, not exactly the kings of the Bundesliga. Mainz, the only real standout, and then St. Pauli struggling as well for wins. That ended St. Pauli's run of 2 consecutive wins to 0. So they're playing the right teams at the right time to pick up points. But this is a step up. Leipzig themselves have put all of this noise down to Champions League distraction. Scoring and conceding is a regular habit, but they'll be pleased with 2 consecutive clean sheets again against strugglers that Augsburg have played and beaten. St. Pauli there, St. Pauli there. So an interesting unbeaten run for both teams, but it seems it's big teams that tend to beat Leipzig recently and away. Bayern Munich and Stuttgart both involved in the Champions League. Augsburg nowhere near. So we move down to the challenge table. 12th against 4th, and you can see the struggles for Augsburg already against the top 7. Failing to score in the 2 matches against the top 5. Failing to score in 4 out of 5 matches against the top 5, home and away. That's going to be their Achilles heel this evening. 4-0 defeat against Leipzig. You're going to expect a defensive reaction from Augsburg. They don't want to be tonked again. Although you did see when Barcelona played Valencia, Barcelona couldn't care less. Scoring 7, and then what was it, another 4 or 5 in the second match. Leipzig, far more vulnerable away from home, you'll have to say. As clear as day, isn't it? Only the 4 wins, 2 of them coming against the bottom 3 away. Beat Leverkusen, but Leverkusen will always give you a chance. And beat Mainz 0-2. But they are vulnerable. Look at all of this as well. Particular problems just in that mid-table where Augsburg are, away from home especially, not scoring that second goal. But they do come alive against 15th and lower. They're playing 12th today. Is this going to be the Leipzig we see? 3 goals in 4 or 5 matches against 15th and lower, away from home. We will see. Overs 60% and 55%, so it's a 50-50. And it's only 57% overs throughout the season for both of these 2 sides. For those of you taking on 0-0s at half-time, well, 90% at home, 82%. So not the highest taking on or over 0.5 goal percentage we're ever going to see. Goal times, well, quite clearly, if Leipzig are to win, they'll need to start scoring in the first half historically. 10 goals in the first half hour, really straight out of the blocks. And conceding 5 in the first 15 minutes for Augsburg at home. So Leipzig, if they are to win today, you'll be expecting them to aim for a goal before half-time, because that's the period where they're most likely to score. The period where they're most likely to concede is away from home, 61%. Second half away from home, 61%. So an interesting match. I would be with Leipzig today on Augsburg's inabilities against top sides. Bundesliga 2. Again, it looks a really good coupon today. I'm going to try and stay awake for this one. And you'll get an extra bonus session, I hope. But as you can appreciate, I'm in the wrong time zone for British kickoff times. So I'm keen to stay up. Magdeburg and Köln. We've seen these kind of clashes. We had one yesterday, Port Vale. Top 6 clash. Very tight match. 2.15 the favourite. Again, the league leader, like Lorient earlier on. Lukewarm favourite or not even favourite at all. So do pay attention to that. The onus is on Magdeburg to tighten the gap and indeed join Hamburg and Kaiserslautern on 38 points with a win today. Köln themselves will be looking not so much at Hamburg, but at Kaiserslautern, Magdeburg, Dusseldorf and Hanover, all aiming to take their automatic promotion spot. I think they're called the Billy Goats, aren't they, Köln? So it's a promotion playoff dogfight, this one. Can't really do any form research. It's a one-off affair. It's going to be must take points off your near rival. Simple as that. Paderborn and Preußen Munster. Paderborn, well, with a win today, could go up into the top three. And it's a very tight at the top, isn't it? How do I get back down here? So it's crucial for Paderborn to get the win today. They could be knocking on the door of a promotion playoff place or automatic promotion itself. So Preußen Munster, different ideas for Preußen Munster. Stay out of this relegation zone. They're 2 points above it at the moment. A win today, of course, will increase that gap considerably to 5 points, which is a win and 2 draws. So it's going to be vitally important with matches running out. Newly promoted as well, Preußen Munster, struggling. So plenty to play for in the Bundesliga 2. Welcome back, the Irish Premier Division and Irish First Division. I've been following these divisions for years. Used to be Cork City and Dundalk dominating the Irish Premier Division, changing hands title-wise, but fortunes have changed. Cork were in the Irish First Division. They're back up again. Dundalk probably going to dominate the Irish First Division and go back up again. Impossible for me to give you any angles in at all today. No point in looking for any seasonal factors or what happened last season. Take the market's ideas, but it's a watching brief. Has to be at this stage of the season. Kerry, usually the absolute whipping boys in the First Division. Doesn't seem to be any relegation because they should be gone by now. But if you look at them, they are the whipping boys. Don't tend to win that often. Good trading side as well, particularly if they're leading 2-0, which they've been doing on a couple of occasions. I think Athlone and Kerry, we had a 1-0, 1-2 lead for Kerry. Indeed, a 1-3 lead for Kerry. That's when you take them on. There we go. Mr. Hand, very handy in the 89th minute. That's Fernando Torres's Timo version of Fernando Torres getting the goal there. 2-3. So this is what I'm talking about with Kerry. Very tradable side. Basically got a target on their backs. So it's great to see these leagues back. Do get to know them. Keep an eye on the results and the standings because these are your summer leagues. Once the elites disappear, this will provide you with trading angles throughout the summer months, as will the tennis, which I'll get into in a separate video. Bologna and Torino. Well, Bologna coming off the back of a 0-0 recently. Let's have a look at this one. Well, as clear as day, there is a problem with draws for both of these two teams. Bologna 0-0 recently against Lecce was very disappointing. They should have really been eyed the win there, but 2 consecutive home wins. When they do lose at home, it tends to be in a very competitive match. I don't see Torino scoring 3 goals anytime soon, unless they've got a bit of luck. The only time they've scored 2 goals recently was against against Udinese. Che Adams is the key to success here for Torino. The Brit, Che Adams, scoring enough goals. He comes up now and again, as you can see there. Problem with Torino, though, is scoring that second goal consistently enough. I still haven't sussed this out. If you take this bit out, that water will turn into steam if you take this out. So get back to me if you've solved this problem. You only have 2 moves. I was thinking of toppling the woman over or tickling her under her arms or something. But let's get back to the footy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Count of all of these. Since the 25th of October, they've scored 2 goals only twice. But they resulted in unbeaten matches. Bologna, well, conceding 2 goals consistently in this short burst against Hellas Verona, Roma, and Inter Milan. But have kept it a little quiet since. But if Torino are picking up 1-1s, it's quite obvious if Torino score first, as you've seen there. Well, they have come back as well, so they'll be delighted with that. Fought back on 3 occasions as well. But I think Torino are more vulnerable if they score first this evening. I do like what I've seen from Bologna. They've scored in the last 7 at home. They've scored 2+ goals in the last 4 at home. Both teams have scored in the last 3 away for Torino. So they're putting to pay those recent runs of 0-0s that they tend to have, or long periods of 0-0s, as you can see there. Away from home, certainly a struggle to even win for Torino against the top 13 away. Against the top 12 home and away, only the 1 win against Atalanta. So it's a rare occurrence, as is defeat for Bologna at home. That's a rare occurrence. They need to be scoring. They've scored in the last 7 at home. They have been a little inconsistent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches they've failed to score that second goal in. 2-0 win against Torino last time. Scoring 2 goals away against 11th to 13th is a positive. Now you've got home advantage. So hopefully they can continue this pattern that you see between 9th and 13th, scoring at least 2 goals. I would be having to take on Torino on that 1-1 if they score first. But I'm worried about Bologna's failure to score in their last match. Second half is where Bologna tend to thrive. And that would suggest to me substitutions, wouldn't it? Tend to produce the difference. 10 goals scored in the first half hour of the second half. Away from home, Torino, it's about 50-50 scoring and conceding. Heavy conceding relative to the 7 goals in total in the last 15 minutes away. So I think on paper, I'm with Bologna. Look at that, 6 0-0s at half time at home, only 1 at full time. So prepare for this. A tight first half against a tight Torino. Go Ahead Eagles have been in excellent form as well recently. Well worth following this evening. Eredivisie, your usual Friday over 2.5 goals and both teams to score accumulator. When it comes in, it's very good. And you always get a good run for your money as well. Extra Classe returns. Arca Gidney are a side worth following in the first division. I've been following them regularly. So it's a really good coupon this evening. I like it. I hope I can stay up for it and give you a little bit of bonus. Members of footballtradingprofits.com on Telegram. We're getting somewhere with our football strategies, betting goes. I'm putting up a football testing lab at the website. Danish Super League begins. So not only have we got the Irish, we've got the Danish as well. We'll soon have the Norwegians. So that's well worth following. Again, I can't give you any strong angles at all. But Brøndby, Copenhagen, likely to be the 2 big forces in the Super League. Premier League 2, over 2.5 goals. So Norwegians will be with us soon, as will the Swedish Allsvenskan. So looking forward to having all of those summer leagues with us. And this is soccer24.com. You can see they're all in alphabetical order. So I'm just looking out for Norway, and then I'll look for Sweden, because Sweden should follow on from Denmark very soon. There we go, the Swedish Cup, AIK against Degerfors. So that's a prelude to the arrival of the Allsvenskan. So I like the coupon this evening. I hope I'll be able to stay up for you. Be interested to keep an eye on the Irish as well and the Danish. Keep an eye on the results right at the start of the season, then you'll get a clear indicator of who's the dominant force, who's the side with the target on their back, who you can rely on, particularly when they lead, to take on. Have a great day, and if you fancy joining, as ever, go to footballtradingprofits.com, join the free trial offer, or come along and get some Premier League research for the weekend for free in your inbox, and a Betfair Trading Made Easy course. And there it is. And if you want to join the YouTube channel, where I'll start to put together some tennis ideas for you, then subscribe to youtube.com/@footballtradingprofits. We had a great 3-hour live stream this Sunday. You can watch it yourself, as I showed you in yesterday's video. Have a look through, look at the strategies, and I'm buying some new strategies as well I can get on the cheap to try out. all to do around football trading. If they've got any extra angles, I want to pass them on to you. And if there's any guinea pigs, then get in touch with me as well. If you want to trial one or two strategies, you have to keep an eye on the results, and then if you give me the results in a certain format, I can take them through the staking machine and do a little bit more analysis that way to fit the right staking plan with the right system. So we're trying to get some bet and goes for you to go along with the live trading, so you've got a full grasp of how to profit from football. Have a great day. I might see members this evening if I can stay awake. My apologies. Get the odd occasion where I will nod off, but I was keen to stay up last night. But it looks as if I didn't miss anything with all of these first legs. We will probably make our money back in the second legs. Panathinaikos must score first in the next leg against Vikingor, and it'll be a lot warmer in Greece than it will in Iceland. Have a great day. I hope to see members of footballtradingprofits.com a little later, even though it is my day off.